What's up, everybody? Y'all let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat room. How are y'all, my lovelies? Give me a 1 in the chat room if you guys can hear me, okay? I'm using my OBS today, so in conjunction with my Hangouts. If that does not work, then what I'll do is switch to Hangouts only, and we'll go from there. How's everybody doing this afternoon? It's been a minute, family. It's been a good hot minute since I, been in the room with you guys. I hope everybody has been doing well and enjoying all of the streams that have been occurring and, listening in where need be, So I've been, rather busy with work and, my daughter had an accident a couple days ago, well, last week, and so I've been taking care of that along with some, stuff at work, and just been really busy as of late. But I am on and here with you guys, and so glad that you've joined me this afternoon. A lot going on, as you can see, on this beautiful flat plane. There is a lot of things that have been going on this past week that I'm going to be talking about today. And if you would like to join the panel, go ahead and look in the back chat because I've already put the Google Hangouts HTTP code back there for you guys. So I'm going to talk for a little bit, and hopefully others will join the stream as they see fit. If you would like to join the panel, you can email me or leave your name in the chat, and I will send you a link to through email. My email is sibersassy03x@yahoo.com. Yeah, so, I don't have to worry about saying the whole spiel about, how to interact with people in the chat. My mods are pretty good, so they don't have any issues, dismissing any trolls that might show up. I ask you to keep it friendly, as well as no, Bible thumping issues, thumping like Democrats and whatnot. We are going to be talking about some topics today that are in relation to Flat Earth, as well as the Flat Earth community. We're going to be talking about the con community, and we're going to be talking about this week's past shooting and the denial, and the Caucasian denial specifically. I believe that in order to conquer something that is an issue or a problem, you have to first be able to name it, talk about it, and then come to some consensus and conclusion. But not talking about it means that you're not ready to deal with the problems. And here, in this Flat Earth community, unity being stressed, we talk about everything and anything that's going on with Flat Earth. I always like to hear how others came to be Flat Earthers. So if you have a great story that you'd like to share, just come on up, join the panel, and give us your Flat Earth introduction. And, everybody's heard my story before, how I came into Flat Earth haphazardly. And, I love hearing how others found out, that this beautiful flat plane was where we actually lived, rather than that spinning ball that they love to indoctrinate us with. Share your story. everybody's story is unique and different, and everybody deserves to have their story be told. We're nothing but a collection of shared lives and stories. So that's the best, most human part of us, is sharing who we are and what we're about and what we experience in this life. It's one of the most powerful things we can do, is share our life with another individual. So I'm glad that you guys have joined me today. I'm going to see who we have here in the chat room. Let's see. We have Nikki. What's up, Nikki? I see Full Life in here. Hey, Cat's Eyes. I see Fam G. What up, fam? How are you guys all doing today? I also see Flat Earth. Hey, how are you? And did I miss anybody? If I did, I'm pretty sure I'll get to you guys. Thank you for joining me so far. I really appreciate it. So yeah, so let's get on topic to our first topic, since I don't have rude MNFers interrupting me. We don't like drama on Flat Earth, Our message isn't about drama. It's really about sharing the truth about where we live and what we can do to come together to destroy those who have lied to us for so long and kept this whole deception going, not only here in the U.S. where we live, but across the world, so to speak. And I use that word lightly, because I want you guys to start to disassociate the word world and globe or sphere. Disassociate those two. They have nothing to do with each other. We live on a plane, of existence. And so far, it's the only one that we know of that we engage other human beings in. And we've got to start to take away the scariness of some of the things that have kept us bound and indoctrinated. And we're not going to allow these words to control or rule us anymore. We're going to take the power back. We're going to take the words back, and we're going to not cast spells on each other. We're not going to allow the enemy anything that would grow them and stunt our growth. We're going to grow in spite of what they've done, what they're doing, and what they're planning. We're just going to throw that out the window. We don't care anymore about what they think, about what we think and know. I've experienced this lately in my own life, on the job, just not being able to share with other people the truth. And people are so indoctrinated, they just are comfortable with the lie, and they don't even know that they're not truly living. When I found Flat Earth, I was completely alive. I had one of the hardest cries I ever had in my whole entire life. And after it, I never felt more alive. I never had any thoughts of turning back or not wanting to know. Once you know this truth, everything else, it supersedes anything else that you knew before it. It's like being reborn, literally. Your life resets itself and starts over, and you realize just how precious the time that you have is, because then you're like, wait, you thought it was precious before? It's even astronomically more special now that you know the truth about where you live, because that ominous threat is gone. It's no longer sticking with you, that you're spinning so fast and out of control through a galaxy that has no end, and you have everything coming back to you in its right proportion, and you can then draw the same conclusion that there is intelligent design, there is a source life to all life. We're not just insignificant like they have told us. I want to talk to you about something that keeps coming up that a lot of people are uncomfortable with, or uncomfortable talking about. Now, here, the flat earth unity that I promote is not color coded. It is colorless in the sense that we don't allow each other's culture or skin color or differences to divide us. That part is gone when you're a true flat earther, a truther. You no longer work within the matrix. You work to tear the matrix down. And so we don't allow those things to divide us, because we see that that's a construct of the matrix intended to keep us from working together in perfect harmony, like the Mother Earth does. You know, everything has its perfect purpose, even though we may not like it. Like, I don't really like mosquitoes. I don't care for ants or creepy crawly things that want to touch me or crawl on me. I'm not into those things, but they serve a purpose. You know, there's things that we haven't named yet that break down decaying things. There's vultures that they love dead things. They eat that. So Mother Nature has a purpose for all of her creatures, and they work perfectly fine. And that's the part where we, as beings of understanding and communication, have an issue with. We have a problem with communicating, but I want to go ahead and dispel some of that deception. I want to go ahead and break through some of the barriers that keep us from working together, that keep us from understanding each other, that keep us away from the circadian rhythm of life that divide and conquer us, because no one wants to talk about the big elephant in the room. Well, guess what? I'm that woman. I don't mind talking about these subjects or these topics, because we have a duty as human beings to give each other the best of each other while we're here together. It doesn't matter to me anyways what a person looks like, unless I'm trying to get with them. Then that's a different story. But anyways, it doesn't matter if they're heavy, obese. I'd like them to be thin though. It doesn't matter if their color of their eyes is blue or green or hazel, or their hair is brown or blonde or brunette or brune. It doesn't matter to me if your skin is the color of night or whiter than snow. That's not what's important. What's important is that we find a connection that propels us and keeps us moving forward. That we add something to each other, to each other's lives, to each other's experiences, to each other's understanding, to each other's consciousness, to each other's lives. That we pay homage to our being, to our spirit, to our ancestors that came before us, to no matter what way you got here. That we start to value life again. That we start to allow each other to live again. We're not really living. And the conscious community, I find, has a really big ego and a really big problem. They were birthed out of something that I'm sure had great intentions. I'm sure they meant well. I'm sure they thought that they were doing something good, something great for the collective of mankind, of their people at that time. I'm sure it was born out of a need, a necessity to survive. One second, guys. I'm going to turn off this fan. It's going to give me a headache. I'm so sure that they thought it was going to be vital, and it was born in different ways. It was, you know, if anybody has an understanding of the matrix that African American melanin rich people have been placed under, it has a lot to do with mental slavery more than, I would say, physical slavery. We were told a story for so long until we started believing that story. And it had everything that it needed to be completely deceptive and take hold, okay? The conscious community was born out of this narrative, the slave narrative. The slave narrative is a powerful mind control that has been placed on melanin rich people, in the sense that they thought that they had the need and the right to protect themselves from people who did not like them because of the color of their skin, and thought that their lives were put on earth to serve Caucasians, that their lives were for the breaking, that their lives were less than worthless, less than a dog. They were seen as cattle, or made to feel and think this way. And so out of that, the conscious community, in order to break away from the lie or the deception and start to come together, the conscious community was born out of that need of self-preservation, that need to belong, that need to restore what was lost. Now, some might argue that that's not the case, that it was just, born out of wanting to educate ourselves, about who we were. But at the same time, both of those statements are true. It was born out of a need to restore and a need to educate. But what happened along the way is that brothers and sisters got lost in just searching for any information that they possibly could find about who they were, where they came from, who their ancestors were. And unfortunately, they get their information from these same people that they consider to be not good for them, who enslaved them, etc., etc. Now, no one's saying to the conscious community that what they've experienced and what they know didn't happen. For all I know, let's just say it did happen. Let's just say we were out of Africa and the Caucasian race, along with several other races, enslaved us and treated us like less than dirt, okay? Let's just adopt that narrative for the sake of this conversation. And so, they see their community as bonding with each other and educating each other about the past and what their lives were like when, their ancestors were slaves. But the narrative doesn't fit what's actually going on and what we're finding out. And we're trying to bring our brothers and sisters into the flat earth truth. But this issue that they have within that community makes it rather difficult. In the conscious community, there are multiple big level players, and a lot of them are religious. Even the conscious community, I'd say, has become a religion. It's no longer just about educating and restoring. It's about, things that don't matter. It's become a religion to the point where people think that if they've studied what happened in the past, that somehow they're a scholar of something because they've dedicated their life to knowing everything from, you know, what the boats look like that the slaves came off of, what kind of tools the master used, you know, to enslave them. And, you know, they may have a lot of knowledge about those type of things, but where's the relevance in that? It's unimportant in relation to what's going on today and where they're trying to go. So there's a lot of misinformation. You know, they may be a scholar in those things, but they're not living their lives for today. They're not showing and proving who they are or where they live. I mean, it's just a disaster in the conscious community. And, you know, as far as me talking about it, it needs to be addressed at this point because I see it as a barrier in the flat earth community. We want to be unified, yet there's all this division going on even within it, and that's something that we're trying to avoid. So the best way to get rid of this issue is to start talking about it, calling those out who are participating in it, and then, you know, not letting them dip out, not letting them have the easy way out when it comes to our truth and standing on that truth. You know, the conscious community, I call it the con community. There's a lot of cons in that community. You know, they know a lot about, you know, Ankhs, Kemet, you know, they know a lot about Hebrew Israelites and Christian lights and, you know, all of those religious aspects. There's some, you know, they take up studies in Kemet, they take up studies in Somalia, Sumeria, you know, all of the ancient civilizations, anything that was left behind by those people, the Egyptians, they love the sarcophagus texts that they left behind. I mean, people build their lives around these things, okay? Sarcophagan texts that were written on the outside of a dead person's resting place. Let that sink in for a minute. People build their lives around this stuff, deciphering it, trying to understand what the person inside that sarcophagus meant. They have created whole texts about, you know, the laws of Ma'at, you know, and again, sarcophagus texts, you know, things left behind by ancestors. They worship these things, and it's become a religion to them, so much so that you can't give them any new information. They won't accept it. They don't realize that part of what they're looking at and investigating and have invested themselves in is something that was set up for them to do. So they've fallen into another matrix that they set for themselves by taking this on. Okay, you have got to live your life for you. You have got to wake up out of that fog. Okay, reason why I say there's a lot of cons in that community, because they don't have the people who follow them's best interest at heart. Okay, they love to get into debates about, you know, the ancestors, as if they were there, literally, and they were not. They love to argue about, you know, this text versus that text, this Bible over that book, you know, this dictionary, oh, don't use that one, use the Strong's Concise, or, you know, oh, that brother wasn't out of his mind. Oh, and you cannot say anything about their teachers. Lord have mercy. They worship them. They might as well put a shrine up in their house. They give so much homage. And yes, they did come before us, and I have great respect for those teachers and the things that they were trying to do. But even them, okay, should not be worshipped. You should not be worshiping someone's personality. What you should do is share, okay, and not get stuck on one single thing, because then you're not really living your life for yourself. You're living for a time that has already passed, but you're living in the now, okay? Living in the now is important, but in the con community, they con people into believing that the stories that about their past are completely true, and that they've got all the answers, and we should all come together around this one story, and none of them can get their stories right, okay? Everybody has a different story about how it went down in the past based off of something that someone else wrote and told them. And they'll read all the books of that author and assume that they know something about the past when all they're doing is reading something that someone else wrote about something they experienced or seen for themselves firsthand. That doesn't lend you enough credibility to then go out and, have a lot of people invested in the things that you say when your actions don't match what you're preaching about, okay? All of those teachers, in that community are just no better than pastors who take around a collection plate to their members, ask for donations to, a new building fund or some, expedition or thing that they want to send people to, some missionary thing. They're no different than them, because what they do is they take in more than they give back to the people that follow them. They're misleading them, okay? And when that person dies, what happens to the community that they've started building? It collapses in on itself, because then everybody wants to be the leader, but there's really no leaders in the conscious community. All they do is sit around and talk about the past, talk about the problems, and never do anything to come up with solutions and blueprints that people can actually get behind and follow. That's one of the biggest reasons that I left them, okay? And these con men are fully indoctrinated, completely with the globe lie, okay? They'll tell you, flat earthers, us, that we don't know what we're talking about, and attempt to indoctrinate us back into the very thing that we left, that we're trying to assist them in seeing for themselves so that they can then come out of it. They're completely indoctrinated with the globe lie and are so sure in what they know about the very people that they say enslaved them. They're so sure that all of their record keeping and texts are absolutely, flawless, without any fault. But at the same time, they're confused in their mind because, oh no, the white man is the beast. He's the devil. He's the one that enslaved them, even though they have evidence to the contrary. They're completely okay with doing the very same thing that they accuse their oppressors of doing. They start hating Caucasians or people with European descent. They start teaching others to hate others in the same way that they were oppressed and hated because of the color of their skin, not just because of their deeds. And this is wrong. This is wrong to develop a following hating other people and preaching unity because you're no better than those who you say enslaved you if you turn around and do the very same thing that you're accusing your enslaver of doing. So you want unity at the expense of everyone else. You want to be a copycat. You do not want to be an original. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with you indoctrinating other people to hate other people. And I don't care that you say that you're doing it out of love and a need to restore melanin people, because that's a damn lie that you're telling people, okay? You're doing more harm than good, and you don't even do any good as far as I'm concerned. All you do is sit around and talk about problems that you're never going to solve. If you try to solve any of those problems, then you'd be doing something. Then you'd be worth me mentioning your name. Then you'd be worth me talking about. But since you're not going to do it, won't give you any airtime. Because what you're doing is keeping people, holding them hostage to the past. We are not living in the past. We're living in the present time, our time. And it's up to us to fix the things that we need fixing, to see to the change that needs to happen. So none of them get a pass. None of them get off the hook, okay? They're conning people into these stories about past greatness, that the black man was the first man on earth, that we are so important and so great, and we built all these wonderful structures around the world, and you know, we were just the best at one time. If we were so great and the best, how the hell did they enslave us? Really, please, someone answer that riddle for me. Someone tell me how it is that if we were so great and we had all this technology and these capabilities, they were able to lock us in chains. Does that make sense to you? No, it doesn't. It tells you that the story is incorrect. It tells you that it's not true. It tells you that you're fully indoctrinated with whatever they infected you with. And then you want to infect other people with that. You want to infect our children with that. And I got a problem with that. I have a problem with it because it's important for us to be raising well-rounded, healthy, mentally healthy, and spiritually healthy, physically healthy beings that are going to replace us when we're gone, that are going to be our carbon copies. What I'm seeing right now coming from the conscious community is a bunch of effeminate males, women with no backbone whatsoever, who don't stand for the truth, who just slide in the way and say, oh yes, gone king, woo, preach that message, woo, he's the truth right there. No, they have no backbone, because I'm going to tell her like it is. They need more women like me, who knows her place when it's needed, and also how to step into that warrior, the same one that was down in them churches with you supposedly when we were slaves, okay? We need more of our types in this movement, because there's a lot of female cons in the conscious community, okay? They have you believing that they're all for the people, but they don't produce any fruit either. Okay? They're just not aware enough, okay, to make a difference or to make a change, okay? They will accept things that someone who is really awake would not accept. A lot of times they will allow the kings to make them the slaves in their lives, okay? And I have an issue with that. I take issue to that because we are yin and yang. We are each other's equal. What I don't have, he has. What he doesn't have, I have. There's a reason why the male carries the sperm and the female carries the egg, okay? But together, that's the only way you can bring another being into this earth. So all that needs to stop. All that needs to die as well. They preach unity for the purpose of liberation, but they don't realize they don't need liberation from the system. The system is now no longer a factor or keeping them down. They need liberation from the mind matrix that they set up for themselves and their followers and the generation that is to come. That's what they really need liberation from. Because all they're doing is setting others up for failure. And when I say they need liberation from the indoctrination of their mind, of the matrix, I'm talking about the fact that they see things contradictory in their indoctrinated selves and continue to stay with that same storyline, even though there's contradictory evidence to refute what they're preaching, what they're teaching, and what they're talking about. Okay? We don't need this type of leadership in the conscious community. They're not doing anyone any service, and they know that by challenging flat earth truth, they're going to lose. And you've seen this. You've seen this as of late, okay? In many different ways. They think it's a joke. They think that we're ha 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 funny. These people are crazy. They think that we live on a plane, a flat surface. Ha ha ha, that's so funny. Everybody knows the world is a ball, a spinning ball of magma and lava hurling through infinite space at 60,000 miles per hour on a spinning ball that's going 1,000 miles per hour that supposedly is in a solar system that has its own spin, its own atmosphere. I mean, hello. I mean, you don't even need us to debunk flat earth. Because the ideal that you believe that BS should start to click with you. And if it doesn't, there's really something really wrong with you. A person that wants to sit there with all the evidence against what they're saying and not even take a look, just laugh it off, has deeper issues than they're ready to deal with, because it's not about us convincing them. It's about them finding and knowing the truth for themselves. We don't need to convince them. We need for them to listen. We need for them to change their thinking, what they do, because what they do in the conscious community is they listen to argue. They listen to rebut you. They listen to debate every single thing. You cannot even get through a whole sentence with them. Because if you say something, then they want to dissect that, okay? And then they get hung up on that, okay? I'm not with the dumb stuff, okay? I'm not going to let you take me down a damn rabbit hole and you ain't got no gun. No. Forget about it. I'm just looking at my notes here. So they see themselves as doing people a favor who are in the community, but they're not, okay? They're miseducating people. They're miseducating people based off of things that they read in books and that came from their supposed oppressor, and it don't do nothing for anybody, okay? What they're teaching and they're preaching is contradictory to everything that their message stands for. They say that they want unity, but at every turn they're finding ways to not be unified. You have so many different sects in the conscious community. You have this clique and that clique and that clique and this clique, and none of them can get together to solve one problem in the community. And that's the sadness about it. That's the sad part. They've got to do better, because, you know, after watching this last debate with Brother Sanchez and them, one of the things that I noticed that they have an issue with is the fact that they don't think that we're scholarly. Who cares about being scholarly? It's not about that. What it is about understanding on its basic level about where we live. You don't need books for that. You don't need someone telling you what to believe when you can experience it firsthand. All they did was, become very catty and talk about what he presented in his presentation. Okay? It was never any evidence presented about why they believe the earth is a globe. It was never anything presented about, here's why I know that the earth is a globe, a spherical aspect. It was all about tearing down another brother, which they say they don't do. But at every turn, that's what they do. They were just arguing and saying, this is not what he does, and this is what he does, but this is this and that. And they use things that we already know about. I mean, you can't get any more lazy than that. You can't call yourself a scholar, do no research, admit to it, and expect us to take you seriously. Because, I mean, really, you lended no credibility whatsoever to your argument. You just look like a babbling idiot. And there's a lot of that going around in that community. I don't care about their names. I don't care about how big they are. Let the people see who you really are. Okay, we saw your true colors. We saw the fact that you didn't know anything about your own model. That was the whole point of him asking you those questions. That was the whole point of you getting into a discussion with flat earthers so that you could stand up for your model, yet you didn't even know your own model. You just wanted some fame, people to watch and laugh and not take it seriously. If you say that you're going to be talking about something open and you want to bring that to your viewers, then you should have a discussion first. You should want to support what it is that you're bringing and presenting on your platform, not act like a total butthole, for lack of a better word. Because we have got to start to have a better dialogue about these things. We've got to come to a certain maturity level when it comes to having discussions that are hard to have, and sit down and really be mature about it, okay? I want to see more men acting like men and not children when it comes to these things. It's okay to disagree about things. It's okay to, not come to the same conclusion. What's not okay is the name calling, the wasting of other people's time when they've come to join you and all you're doing is attacking another brother, which you say that you're not about that life, but in actuality, yeah, you about that life, okay? You disingenuous when you do that. Don't say that you want unity and you spend your whole time talking about another flat earther or another brother in the movement. This is ridiculous, man. Come on. It was embarrassing to know that we're bringing our audience to watch something on another channel that's supposed to be our community, and it turns into a complete shit show. That's embarrassing to me, because it looks like the people who we're reaching out to help save are biting our hands off, and how that looks to everyone else. Like we can't get it together to save our own lives. And this is the truth. We can't get it together to save our own lives. In fact, there is no community in the conscious community. There's only con people in the conscious community, because they don't produce any fruit from their labor. All they do is talk a good game. And it's fine if you like to talk a good game, but I'm about show me. I'm about, if I eat, you eat. If I got it, you got it. Okay? If you say that you want our people to do better, then start developing programs to help them do better. Okay? It's not enough for you to develop a following of people who are primarily brainwashed haters of other people, and that's all y'all do. You might as well go sit up in somebody's church then, okay? Because that's what they do. They sit up there in church and listen. They pay to have someone make them feel good about the shitty world that they live in. They pay some guy to lie to them, to tell them, oh, it's going to get better because he'll fix it. But they never do the work. I mean, how ridiculous, how long do you have to keep getting taken before you realize you getting conned? Out your money, out your time, out your mind, okay? It don't make any sense after a while that you keep going on with it when somebody ain't producing any fruit. But they want you to show up to their convention so y'all can continue to sit there and talk about the problems that they ain't trying to solve. They talk a good game, okay? I don't got time for you to talk me out of my money and my draws and my everything, okay? I actually want you to lay out a legacy, lay out a blueprint that others can follow after we leave this earth. But they ain't doing that. They just talking. They just playing house, okay? They just pretending to be men. They're not actually men. They are grown boys in diapers. That's how I really feel. Grown boys in diapers, sitting around waiting for somebody to change their stinky pamper when they should be potty trained by now. Okay? That's what they're doing. And another thing that's bothersome about that community is the fact that they say they want to, the woman is God and they love women, but they're always ready to argue. They're ready to argue at a woman. They say that they want to restore the woman to her rightful place in that community. You know, the woman is God. You know, the woman is the throne of the king. The woman is the giver of life. You know, they talk a good game, okay? They talk about how women should be seated, you know, but everything that they say doesn't match up to their actions, because every time you turn around, they want the woman to be quiet. They want the woman to go sit down and just listen to the discussion, not participate in the discussion. Oh, I'm sorry. I only just gave birth to you, but now you want me to go sit in the corner and be quiet. Where they do that at? In the conscious community, in the con community. Go on, baby. Go get my beer. Go on, go fix my meal, my plate. Is my plate ready? Girl, I ain't playing with you. Where my food at? You know I done worked all day. Supposed to have my plate ready. Go on, make them kids be quiet and tell them to go over there and sit the hell down. I gotta watch my show. Baby, you know I love you. Come here, girl. Really? Really? That's really? You really think that's what your queen want out of life? Is to be at your beck and call like a slave girl? Like a bed wench? We ain't got no mind? That's what you really think? Probably not. Probably not. No, not happening over here. We ain't raising them like that, okay? If the woman is supposed to be royalty, is the woman supposed to be queen to her king, then she should be reigning with you. She should be beside you, leading. Never behind you. If anything, in front of you, but beside you. Because that's the only way that it's going to work. That's the only way that you're going to rise. That is the only way that you're going to succeed, is by restoring the woman to her rightful place beside you. Not tearing her down or putting her, so to speak, in her place. We don't have no place. We equals in this thing. If you think not, just try to produce some seed without a woman. We got those kind of problems too, okay? The conscious community is so full of masculine energy that they drowned out the feminine energy to a point where it is detrimental to what they're trying to do. Okay? They need to cut that out, okay? Because we're not just strong enough to give birth and bring new life into this world. We were given abilities and capabilities that you do not have, but that are in line with what you do possess. And it's time that you acknowledge that. Don't say that you want to restore feminine energy, but every time we look up and go to your channel or you have discussions, it's nothing but males on your panel talking. All your guests are male. Everything you talk about is masculine, except when you want to be funny and be like, ha ha ha, that's just a real pretty over there. She's cute. Please, beauty fades, and we all know that. Because a woman is more than her outward appearance and what she can do for you in the bedroom, okay? We never see them on your platform. All you do is talk about masculine energy and masculine things. We need to be a part of your plan, a part of your discussion. You don't need to be having a discussion without women involved in it, because you're not doing anybody any favor doing that. If you don't have the discussion with women, you're going to have a plan that's going to have a weak link in it. And we see this over and over again in the conscious community. The disinclusion of women. You're having a discussion with yourselves, and we all know you did not get here in and of yourself. A woman lent you her vessel to be birthed into this world. And we're so much more than that. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to go turn my air on real quick. So it's a little hot up here. I'm in my great room upstairs. So give me 1 second. I will play this music for you real quick while I do that. Okay, back to what I was talking about, guys. Sorry about that. It's just was getting a little too hot for me. I don't know why my air isn't flowing like it should up here. But yes. How you doing? Your Sweet Place, Flat Earth Accord. Sarah Nasset is up in here. What's up, brother? Let's see. We got Luna Moon. How you doing? Indigenous Ross Levy. Empress Lou. How you doing? Witty Nefertiti. What's up? Miktakala. Hi. How you doing? All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. So yes, you can't talk about the divine feminine without inclusion of women into your discussion. The fact that I constantly see this all the time is that, they want women to, be quiet and sit still and, just all these old ways when it comes to the conscious community. I mean, I don't see, unless they're teaching something, that women are included in discussions. And to me, that's very disturbing when you say that you want to restore women to their rightful place back into our community. It's just very absent-minded, inconsiderate, and stupid to do so. I'm not one of those women that will just go quietly and not acknowledge the fact that there is a big problem in that community when it comes to women and their roles that women play. I believe that we have better control and better ideals when it comes to fixing some of the problems and issues. And why I can say that is because if you give a woman something, she will multiply it. I don't care what you give a woman, she will multiply it, whether it is a seed, whether it is sperm, whether it is, cotton, clothing, a home. She will multiply it. She will make a house a home. She will raise a child to a man. If you give her, meat or vegetables, she will make that into a meal that can feed plenty. Okay? We do have answers that men don't have, and vice versa. So they need to get out of the habit of locking the woman out of the discussion or assuming that, oh, women should only just go talk with women. No, we need each other to understand. And I don't think that we need the conscious community at all because, like I said before, it doesn't exist. It's an ideal that the conscious community exists. It started out to be something that developed out of a need and has just totally gone full religion mode, because only religion asks its followers to continuously give to a cause that they know that they can't complete. Okay? It's ridiculous. Okay? There's a lot of big players in that could be making a difference. They have connections that they can use to say, hey, I'd like to start this, or don't you think we would do well if we did this? But none of that ever takes place. I don't see that happening. I see a lot of arguing amongst themselves, not actually getting anything done that's even worth mentioning, really and truly. And it's sad because these are the men who are set to raise the next generation. And we don't have a correct storyline that we're presenting to the so-called community. There's all this division that's going on. And then you have them attacking flat earthers for spreading truth and wanting to work together with all of God's people. All of the creator, all of the creation. They're upset that we don't adopt or adhere to their false teachings. And reason why I call them false teachings is because anything that you didn't experience firsthand that you're going off of has to be investigated. Okay? It has to be found to be true, and there's just too much going on in the storyline for any of it to be true, and for one person to just claim, yes, I'm taking that story and running with it. There's a big problem with that. Excuse me. And the problem with that is, once you realize that you've been lied to more than one time, and you don't stop buying the lie, stop buying into it, you have nobody to blame but yourself. You then have the responsibility to educate yourself on the truth. If you know that they lied to you about your ancestors, the fact that we were slaves, that we're probably indigenous to the land, and decide to take half of what they told you is true, but the other half is not, if you don't investigate that, you're doing yourself and everybody in the community a disservice. And this is the problem that I have with that, is that they take something that they say they got from the enemy and hold it as truth, but in other areas that there is truth, they don't even want to look at. Okay? They don't want to have that true, honest discussion. They just want to act like clowns and fools. Okay? They're doing everything that the supposed oppressor did. Okay? And they're unaware that they're mentally ill. They're unaware that they're even doing this. They just think that they're protecting their heritage and their information. But who gave you that information that you're now standing on and calling it life, calling it law? I mean, you don't make any sense when you do that. You don't make no sense talking about, we were slaves and they did this to us and everything, and all this stuff. And then when, we tell you something else, that, hey, they also said and did this. Are you just going to take that as pure evidence? How can you trust somebody who doesn't have your best interest at heart? Okay? They coming up with the story. They coming up with the lie, and you keep buying it over and over again. And keep teaching it to others and telling others the same story. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to grow up and stop being a child. It's time to look at the facts of the matter. Don't nobody care that you want to live in the past when we got to deal with what's happening in the future. Everybody realizes the problem of the matrix except for you. You think you're woke, conscious community, but you're not woke to the truth. You only fell off into another matrix that they had for you. I'm sorry to be the one to break that news to you. You in a whole nother matrix that we as flat earthers and truthers are trying to assist you in getting out of. But you have to want to do that. That matrix that you set up for yourself is so good. It's like hitting a crack pipe, apparently. And I ain't never did crack, but I heard once you get on it, you can't get off. It's so good to y'all that you can't let that drug go. That no matter how bad it gets, you won't quit. You act like somebody on drugs in the conscious community. Y'all are all acting like crackheads. You all acting like you are addicted to drugs. And the drug of your choice is past lies, past deception, past half-truths. You taking it on as your own. It's ridiculous. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to help you find your way out of the madness that has become the con community. If you want to feel good, they gonna make sure you feel good. They gonna give you that next hit. They gonna say all the things that you want to hear. Yes, the white man is the devil. Oh, he did X, Y, and Z. They ain't our friend, this and that. Oh, they gonna have you jumping for joy, eating it up, eating up every little word. Yes, they are. Oh, yes. But then what? Okay? Then when you realize you're a hater, then what do you do? Because that's all you are. Y'all are all haters, man. You not only hate the Caucasian for whatever you think or they told you to believe about them, you hate yourself as well. You hate yourself and you hate your own people. It's proven. You cannot refute anything that I'm saying because you've had 20, 30 plus years to get some order and come up with some solutions, and you haven't. You can't refute anything that I'm saying because what I'm saying is the truth. You hate them, you hate your people, and you hate yourself because you refuse to change. Nobody needs to go and kill a black man in the street. Nobody needs to go and put drugs in the neighborhood or liquor stores in the black community, or take all the businesses out and only leave you with gas station, liquor store, drugs, prostitution, murder, high murder rate, because you're killing yourselves. You're killing yourselves with misinformation, disinformation, miseducation. You acting like you smart, but you ain't smart, okay? Nothing about you is smart. Everything about you says you simple, that you get hung up on words and wordplay. You get hung up on the little things, okay? You're not sophisticated in your responses and your answers. You haven't learned from the mistakes of the past because you keep repeating them over and over again. So nobody has to come and do anything to you anymore. You're doing it to yourselves. You're doing it so well that the supposed enemy just can sit back now and watch you. And every now and again, they give you a bone by shooting a black man who's unarmed. Okay? Or some other travesty like locking up our youth for 20 plus years for a crime that they didn't commit. Just to keep you following that same story, that same indoctrination, that same line that they fed you a long time ago. See, you woke up for a time such as this. You're hearing the sound of my voice for a time such as this. There's a reason why you've been touched and you're awake. It's a gift. It's something in you that needs to be birthed. That seed needs to grow and be shared with other people. It's not going to be shared if you stay in the conscious community, the con community, because they're not producing any fruit. Over here on Flat Earth, we're working together to wake up people to find solutions to fight the powers that be the best way that we can. And we have so much faith and knowledge and knowing and understanding to trust and believe that you can come up out of it too. We aren't giving up on you. We aren't going to give up on you. We're not going to take it easy on you. You don't deserve for us to take it easy on you. You know why? Because you've had decades and decades to come up with solutions, a blueprint and a plan to put out there that others can follow, pick up and run with. But you haven't been able to do it. So no, you get no passes when you come to a Flat Earth talk. You get no passes when you show up to debate unprepared, because you're supposed to be well prepared. Supposedly, y'all got all the answers. You just don't know how to execute. Prove me wrong. Show me something that's working. And I'm not talking about you setting up a damn soup kitchen and feeding the hungry in your neighborhood. Okay, I'm talking about duplication of rising wealth in our communities. I'm not talking about simple stuff. I'm talking about things that break chains off of whole states. Okay, anybody can go and feed the homeless and the hungry. Okay, but can you put them in your home and hold them up until they get set straight? I'm talking about real work, not that counterfeit stuff y'all be talking about. That's that fake stuff y'all be running during Christmas, giving out baskets and toys and things like that. I'm talking about freeing us completely. Not the ridiculousness that they have going on that ain't working for anybody. Hold on. Somebody's at my door, you guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Yes. So back to what I was saying, I'm talking about doing the work that needs to be done to free people's minds so that they can make choices for themselves, no longer under the matrix and its trap. Oh, okay. Yes, yes. I sure will do that right now. Oh, I see Flat Out Elected in here as well. What's up, brother? Hey, Nikki. I'm sorry about that, love. Let me get you set up. Y'all know, as soon as I start talking, I'll just be going on and keep talking, and I need to pay a little bit more attention to my chat room. Hey, guys. Whoops. There we go. All right. I think she's straight. Hey to everybody that has joined in the chat room. So yeah, this community is broken, if you ask me, beyond repair, okay? Because they want to sit and talk about the past, and we trying to do something new. We trying to fix the real problem, to go after the people that are harming us all. The reason why we can't figure out our truth, our true history, and our true story. Those are the people that we're going after. The people that are keeping us in this matrix, that is no good for anybody. Everybody knows what the symptoms of the matrix is. The problem is we want to take it down. We want to destroy it, and we want you to help us do that. But you can't help us do that from a fractured mind state, from a sick mind state where you're not aware of what we're talking about. We don't want to have arguments with you. What we want to do is work together and for you to understand where we're coming from. We don't always have to agree. We don't always have to, have the same understanding. Everybody's not going to have the same understanding, but we have to agree to be able to set our differences aside and come together and work together for the good of all. And I find that this community has a problem doing that, in the fact that they just think that it's so important to try to figure out what happened in the past when they're killing us with fluoride now. They're killing us with chemtrails now. They're killing us with cancer now. These are all things that nature did not intend, but through man's tampering, we have these problems going on in our flat plane. Okay, we don't even know what our true weather system would look like without man's tampering. But they seem to think that they can take their half-truth and make something out of it when it hasn't worked for 20, 30, 40, 50 years so far. I mean, Martin Luther has been having that dream for a long time. Don't you think it's time to realize what it is? But no, you can't tell them about their teachers. You can't tell them about who they hold up as something great. A lot of the stuff ended because a lot of the oppressive ways ended because it couldn't hold anymore. There was just too many people to try to corral it anymore. A lot of it ended because their plan, the elite's plan, changed. It no longer fit the model, so they had to come up with a new plan for us, and we've fallen into it head over heels. But as flat earthers and truthers, we've awoken to this, and all we're wanting to do is have you come alongside of us to work together to destroy it. Don't be like everybody else who's given up on you. They think that you work for the other side. And you seem like you work for the other side, how you oppress your own people and your own message, and how you don't get anything done in that community. You're always preaching unity and teaching about it, but you don't have any. When it comes down to it, y'all argue and you fight like kids on a playground who took somebody's car. And so you hit them, and then they hit you back, and then they run and they tell they mama, and they mamas get calm and they get the fighting, and then they go and they bring they boo, and then they boos get to shooting and fighting. I mean, it's a sickness that's so deep that keeps compounding upon itself, and I don't know how y'all don't see it. You don't see it because you don't listen to women, for one. And you don't listen to women because you think you're all that and a bag of chips. And if you were all that and a bag of chips, you'd have something put together by now. You have a blueprint for somebody to follow, but you don't. So obviously, y'all need to sit down in the seat and the class of a flat earth teacher and learn something from the community. Because in flat earth, we're all teachers. Okay? We share liberally. And we love hard, okay? Even though you're stuck with that sickness that y'all got going on, we still love you. We still care about you, but we're not going to let you reinfect us with your sickness. We're not going to re-let you infect us with your sickness. The sickness runs deep. It runs deep because there's lots of wounds and lots of hurt from finding out that you're the bottom of the barrel. You're the stuff that's in the bottom of the barrel, actually. And they did that, I think, to use the things that make you strong against you. Everybody has their own gifts. Everybody has their innate abilities, and melanin people are no different than the next person. If you continue to take on the slave narrative, you're continuing to say that what people have said about you, your oppressors, is true. That you're lazy, you're dumb, you can't do anything, you're not worth anything. You're taking all of that onto yourself when you take the slave narrative. It's either you were once great and still are, or you were slaves and never were great. But you can't have them both. In that lies the middle right now. You're in the middle. The fact that you're here listening to a flat earther speak about their own community puts you directly on the fence in the middle. And what we would like for you to do is explore. Don't keep going where you've been. Don't keep doing the same thing you've done, because it's not working for you, okay? Sitting up, having pep rallies with your pom-poms out, go leader, is not working. Don't keep doing what you've done. Has it netted you anything? Has your life improved or changed since you've got your pom-poms out with you and your leader? Woo! Has your life been great? Is it where it needs to be? Answer that honestly, okay? Are you financially stable? Do you have health? Can you get health care? Are you under corporations, or are you free from corporations? Are you getting the best education you possibly can? Are you understanding what it is you're being educated on? Are your children, do they have access to the things that they need and they want without a struggle? If you can answer those things, honestly, you would have to say no. Because none of us are. Under the current matrix that we live in, that was set up for us, its inception long ago, before we were even born, it was set up to trap you. It was set up with things that would pique your interest. You were given enough information to make you stay invested, in it, but not enough information to free yourself from it. And what Flat Earth offers you is the ability to free yourself from the matrix and join the resistance. We are the resistance. We're no longer willing participants in the matrix. We are totally breaking away from the matrix and finding new ways to coexist with each other that don't leech off of each other and harm Mother Nature. A system that is not profit-based or based on huge corporations that are taking the power away from the people. A system where you are free to worship whatever God you choose, so long as you're not trying to kill other people for your God. A place where you are free to be yourself and experience life without the threat of death every single time you open up your eyes, other than when it's your time to go. Haven't you ever stopped and asked yourself and wondered what it would be like to have never needed to work? Can you imagine what you would do if you had no job? If you were free to just live your life the way that you so pleased? Have you ever envisioned or thought about a life where you don't have to pay for the things that you need to survive on this earth? If food, shelter, and clothing were provided to you free of charge, and healthcare, who would be trying to kill each other? Who would be trying to miseducate or misinform or harm another human being? No one would have the need to one-up somebody because everybody is equal. Well, in this matrix, no one is equal, and including the conscious community. Yes, it seems like we have the worst matrix out of the entire matrix. It was designed that way for a reason, to play against your strengths. And until you realize this and accept that and look deeper into it, you'll continue to be a slave to another person. You'll continue to have your pom-poms out, cheering on your favorite leader with your personality worship of a preacher who preaches in a church that doesn't have visible walls. Now, I don't have anything against our religious brothers in the sense of, they're free to have whatever belief system they choose. What I do have a problem with is the structure of it is all wrong. It's when it is detrimental to your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. And that's what we have in the conscious community. We have huge problems with people sharing their talents and only leading people astray, not actually developing more leaders to go out and do the work that needs to be done, but just followers who sit there and listen to lies all day. Indoctrination is just another form of indoctrination. There's no unity there, but there could be. There's a lot of potential there if they would take the time to police themselves and correct what it is that they're doing. Obviously, they have a heart and a love for their own, but at the same time, we are part of the human race. These walls and these barriers that they've been trying to build up over the years, saying, hey, we need unity. We need to stick to our own kind. We need to only work together with our own kind. Hasn't happened yet. It's not working. You trying to take on the very thing that you've been fighting against and been screaming and crying about that people did to you, it haven't worked with you trying to do that yet. Why? Because it's contrary to your nature, your true loving nature. Melanin people have some of the greatest depths and ability of love that this plane has ever known. Strength like no other. But you can't tell it by the things that they do, the things that they say, and their lack of accountability when it comes to that community. They seem to be lost in the sauce, okay? They seem to not understand what their illness is. And their illnesses are many, too many to name. The three biggest is they indoctrinate people to believe that they were great, yet slaves. They indoctrinate people to believe that they're Hebrew Israelites or from Egypt or Kemet or other places, and they were great and they will be great again, but they don't have any plans for these people. Okay, they indoctrinate people with the globe lie, and that's what we're fighting, is the globe lie. They say, well, how does knowing the earth is flat solve any of the problems that we have going on now? And my answer to that is the whole globe lie being torn down will solve all of those problems, because that's where it started and that's where it will end. See, when you don't know what the matrix looks like, you're in it. when you can diagnose it, step outside of it, look at it for what it is, and know what it is, you can be a part of the solutions. And that's exactly what we need. We don't need people fighting us for the sake of staying in something that hasn't worked for them for 50 plus years. When are you going to do a new thing? This is what flat earthers are fighting for, or are reaching out to you for and about. We are here committed to the work that needs to be done. And it is difficult work because melanated people is hard-headed, y'all. They hard-headed in their ways. They think they know something and they don't. They pick up the ball once they got that ball and they run with it and they keep running. I mean, they run all the way to the damn NFL. Okay? With some of the lowest hiring rates and the worst treatment. Stop running towards those things. I don't want to see any more people striving towards the system. I want to tear the system down. That is the goal, is to tear the system down. Not keep building it up, not keep participating in it. We definitely have a lot of work to do and have to get out of the system. It's not helping anybody. You trying to alienate yourselves and stay to yourselves and sit up there and act like y'all got unity when you're attacking everybody, including yourselves. I mean, you have no love for anybody. When you do that, you show your own true nature, okay? And I'm not saying everybody is this way in the conscious community, but the majority of the people in the conscious community that participate are this way. I hardly see any, rarely, that are not. And it's really sad to know that that community just can't get it together. So, what can we do to help? What kind of solutions can we incorporate in assisting the conscious community with changing their behavior and their ways? Because we've made the step of reaching out. We've taken those first steps. Now what do we do? Sharing the information that we have, we do that freely. Okay, we've got to start taking these channels on and their followers and being present. Start to, subscribe to these channels, even though we're not going to listen to their message because it's contradictory towards ours. But we're going to subscribe to these channels and attack the problem head on. We're going to participate in their chat, even though they'll probably block us. We're not going to troll them, but we're going to be witnessing. We're going to be there as witnesses. We're not going to go away. We're not going to hide. Hello. We're going to share the message with as many people as we possibly can. We're going to refute any information that they put out that's contrary to the truth. So yes, we're going to start making rebuttal videos when they come out with something negative. I'm going to watch some of their streams and I'm going to have an answer for that. Because in order for them to recognize their negative behavior and change it for the better, you have to point it out. You have to be able to say what you're doing and what you're saying is wrong, and this is why it's wrong, or else we're not going to get anywhere. And there ain't no punks in the flat earth community as far as I know. No one here is scared, okay? You got here as a truther, as a flat earther for a reason. It's because you were strong mentally enough to release yourself from the globe lie. So we all can do something to help this community, which is don't give them any passes. When they say things that are contrary to the truth, call them out on it. Don't be afraid to do that. We have to hold each other accountable if we want to strengthen ourselves. When they are seeking answers and solutions, be ready with them. Know your model. We do know our model, but learn it even better. Learn the mathematics. Learn why they say what they say. Learn why they believe so hard, in gravity. Have the answer for that. Learn their model better than them. These are things that we can do to help this community to realize that they're woefully wrong. They need to change, and we're not going to go anywhere. And we're here when you finally do wake up. We're right here with you. But until then, they're the damn enemy, okay, y'all? And we got to attack the problem, attack the enemy. Because what we're fighting for is something greater than ourselves. And it starts with person-to-person contact. So you affect the next person that you're in contact with. You go after that. You go after them with every fiber of your being. Because you go after them like you would want someone to come after you if you were drowning. You don't want them to just throw a life preserver. You want them to come and get you, because that stream may break when they're trying to save you. No, you come get me, and we gonna get back together. Put the life vest on, blow it up. I can't swim, y'all. So I'm gonna have floaties. I'm gonna have the life preserver. I'm doggy paddling out there to you. I'm gonna get to you the best way I can, flippers and all. Okay? Go get your brother or your sister. Take that time to talk and invest in them. They're never going to know that they're wrong about something if you do not let them know about it. So don't give them any passes when it comes to information or misinformation that they have. Be willing to talk to them. Be willing to tell them when they're wrong. Be willing to set them straight. Be ready with an answer. Don't even get into it with them about the different sects, the religious aspects and all of that. Don't even get into discussion, because I've seen this over and over again as they join the panels. They take it towards a religious aspect, okay? And then you start debating the points of what they believe in their doctrine. And it's really a waste of time. Stick to the topic when talking with them. Don't allow them to steer the conversation away from what you're actually talking about, which is the fact that we live on a flat plane. Talk about those things. Don't allow them to nitpick this and that. Don't allow them to put up a wall, their religious barriers, okay, their Kemetic teachings, and all of those things, when that has nothing to do with something that you can prove yourself with your naked eye, with your own hands, and a couple experiments and some devices. Don't let them off the hook. Don't allow them to steer the conversation away from what it is you're talking about. Stay on topic at all times, because this is going to help you to grow and discipline you. It's going to make your telling of your truth easier. Is going to allow you to be the difference. You don't just become the lifesaver. You become a life giver when you pass your light along, when you give information and you share knowledge that gives somebody else life. They don't know that they're dead. They don't know that they're stinking in the bushes. Okay? You can bring them back to life by staying on topic, by sharing what you know, by being ready with an answer, and by respecting where they're at. They have an innate ability to, redirect a conversation, disrail a discussion like no other. I give them props on that, okay? They will take you on that ride if you let them. Your responsibility is not to let them take you on that ride, okay? Because that's a roller coaster ride y'all ain't never getting off of. You can never resolve it, okay? Because you're talking about somebody's belief. Let them believe, that there's some magical creature, God, whatever, in the sky that's coming down to save them. Eventually, when they get the truth, they will get it. Eventually, they'll understand what it is that you're trying to say. They will go on a totally different journey. Just as I did. Once I found out, okay, it's flat, I've been lied to. Well, what else have they been lying to me about? What else haven't they told me the truth on? Oh my God. Really? They will take that journey. But you're not going to get anywhere by tearing down their religion. They just don't respond well to it. So that's three things that we can do to assist them. Yeah, so yes, I feel the same way, Flat Earth Accord. It is like talking to them. Like, she's a little bit much, though. What else can we do? Don't be afraid to share the truth. I hear a lot of people, they just want to have debates on subjects that they already know that that person is a scholar in, okay? They want to, in hopes that this will help them reach flat earth. But at the same time, come on, guys, we're on a mission to wake people up. We're on a mission to have more woke people around us really living life, so they're not a threat anymore. They're not Agent Smiths anymore. Can't be afraid to talk about this truth to people. If you want more woke people, if you really want to speed up the decline of the matrix, then you have to be willing to share it with you, no matter, what the consequence of that is. You have to just put it out there and go for it, okay? You're not doing anybody any service. We don't have any time to waste sharing this truth. The world needs it like they need a Mother Teresa, okay? They need it. They sick and they don't know they sick, okay? They needs to wake up. So you need to, share it with as many people as you can. Jump on some of these channels and be like, sorry, that's not true, okay? Try not to get banned. So just, stay on topic once you get there, and, don't let them change the topic, and stick to your guns about the truths that you know. The earth is flat with the exception of mountains, hills, valleys, piled up earth, whatever you want to say. It's not a sphere. It's not a globe. It's not circular. Bodies of water don't hold a ball. When you turn a glass upside down, the water comes on out because it only takes the form of what its container is. Hello. Stick to your points and guns. Know what your points are. Be open. Be willing to share how you became a flat earther. Don't get into personal discussions about, how you really may feel about a person, because you're never going to reach them. You may see attitude, but don't even acknowledge it. Just try to stay focused on the truth. We have the truth on our side, so there's no reason for us to argue them down about their personal beliefs. If we have the truth, then we should be able to talk to them cordially and with the understanding of that truth in order to reach more people. Remember, we're not trying to indoctrinate them. We're trying to unindoctrinate them and want them to do their own research. So you can't give them all the answers. You just have to give them enough to make them want to research. Okay? How it becomes personal is when they start attacking you verbally and you let it slide. Don't let it slide. Just stick to the point. That has nothing to do with the flat earth and why you believe it's a globe. Remember, they had like 500 plus years to prove their model, and they haven't, okay? That's why there's a problem with it. So now I want to talk to y'all a little bit about what happened this past week with the shootings, okay? And our Caucasian brothers and sisters. Now, you know, this is what I have to say about the situation with these shootings and that they keep happening and occurring and coming up, okay? A lot of Caucasians are in denial about there being an issue when it comes to communicating with the conscious community and our perception and our understanding of what they do. We understand in the flat earth community the constructs of the matrix that they've set up, the different paradigms and paradoxes and so on that accompany it. But what we need y'all to do is to also understand this and how you can assist in not being a part of the matrix itself and not falling for this over and over again. I see it all the time, okay? We can't be afraid to talk to each other about each other, okay? And this is without any defenses. I see a lot of division on flat earth by a lot of Caucasian people who don't understand that they're doing anything wrong when it comes to how they deal with unity in the community. They do and say a lot of things that they're very ignorant of, and they act like they're unaware of these things. Well, I'm here to make you aware that there is some issues and some things that you're doing incorrect when it comes to dealing with flat earthers who realize the matrix for what it is, and yet you still go backwards and entertain it, and we just don't have any time for that on flat earth, okay? We had this shooting by a supposed Caucasian man, and we see these scenarios playing out all the time in the matrix, okay? With African Americans or black people, as they're called in the matrix, we see that in their matrix, a situation may occur like drive-by shootings, okay? They like to hit us with that. Or they like to hit you with, you know, black on black crime. They say catchy little things like this to coin things that happen in the matrix, to trigger people. It's the same thing when it comes to Caucasians or people of European descent and mass shootings. You have to recognize that it's a game for them. They want you to see these, you know, and turn the knob. They want you to play the game, and you keep falling for it. Anybody that believes that shooting didn't occur is out of their mind, because real people are dying in these false flags. Real people are being killed, you know, and you not acknowledging these type of things is a problem when it comes to the black community, the melanin community. You not acknowledging the fact that the matrix is killing melanin people is a problem. You're in denial about the trappings of the matrix and the issues that come along with it. We are not in denial about these things and recognize them wholeheartedly, openly, because we don't see color. We've been made to be a color, and we're not a color. We're not black. We're not African Americans. We're not any of those labels. We're beings. We're human beings first. We're melanated beings second. Okay? We're melanin rich people, okay? We know this about ourselves. We know this, okay? We got that gold glory thing going on. The issue is that you don't pay attention when it comes to catching the issues of the matrix, because even though we're all supposed to be unified and you're supposed to be colorblind and not taking part in that, you do it, and it transmits into the flat earth. We don't want that to keep occurring. You can't be in denial about these things. Let me tell you why. It's because it creates division when you can't talk about something, and we should be able to talk about everything wholeheartedly. So, like I said, they've taken For one of the news lines for us will be drive-by shootings, black on black crime, mass incarceration of melanin-rich people. Recognize that that is a facade. That's a matrix. Okay, that's a mirage. It doesn't really exist in our world, in the flat plane, in flat earth, in the flat earth community. We should be able to see those things with no problems and talk about it. And it's the same thing with mass shootings in the matrix with your people of European descent or who are Caucasian, whatever term we need to use. Mass shootings, okay, that's y'all's trigger. That's y'all's mirage. That's y'all's mask. That's y'all's paradigm in the matrix, okay? They like to throw that up. So we'll then go back and say, oh yeah, I'm thinking this is how people think in the matrix. Look, white people do mass shootings. They just kill people for no reason. They just go out and just murder a whole bunch of people at once. And then the white people over there saying, look at all these black people. They over there just killing each other. You got black on black crime. Understand this is the game. This is how they create division. And it's all a setup. It's all designed to keep us separated from each other, fighting each other, keeping confusion going on. Okay? Look at that shooting, okay? We know that in history they always set serial killers to be Caucasians, mass shooters to be Caucasians, you know, mass murdering of African Americans is set up for Caucasians. The slave that they were slave masters, they were set up for that in the matrix. Recognize those things, okay? And realize that there are real people that are dying under the guise of these matrices. And that we're open to talking about them, but you have to also recognize the fact that people are literally dying because of this game that they are playing, okay? We're all pieces on that chessboard. And we have to start to come together and work together and look at it for what it is and recognize that it's there to make you fight and come up and say nasty things about each other that have nothing to do with the truth whatsoever. Recognizing that the game is up is how we're going to win the war. Recognizing that you're the most valuable pieces on the board, that the board just is what they use to move us around, is only half the battle. We have to start to stop playing the game. And that means if you want to ask me any question about, say, my hair or, you know, why does this seem to be this way in the community, feel free to do that, okay? If you just have to know those things. But you're only showing that you have issues with the fact that you still mentally partially invested in the matrix. When you sit up there and you say, you know, oh, it's not all bad, you know, we should just, you know, the parties, Democratic and the Republican Party just need to be fixed. We need an alternative solution to those parties. Oh, healthcare, you know, oh, that can be fixed. You know, we just need the right bill to be passed. Oh, no, you know, we're not really mass incarcerating African Americans. That's just, you know, a lie that people are telling. Everybody's getting mass incarcerated all together, you know. No, you need to acknowledge that all of that stuff is happening, but we have the power to change when we work together. You have to acknowledge the fact that the things that they put in place have consequences that actually play out in real life. And we see those things, but we're not participating in it. You need to stop letting it sink into your mind that we can fix this system. It is irrevocably broken. And you have the ability and the power to change that. And no one here, especially not me, is going to let you off the hook. Yes, we're not going to let you off the hook. if you're a powerful piece on the chessboard, use that power for the greater good of all. That's what you should be doing. I looked at that shooting and was like, oh, here we go. Now, you know, they're going to say all this crazy stuff, and they're going to say, well, you know, they're just talking about conspiracies and this and this and that. Who gives a care about any of that when real people are actually dying, okay, because of the result of these false flags and whatnot? And we need to stop participating in it. That guy that did that was probably a Mason, belonged to one of those agencies, and he got orders and was activated and went and did what he was supposed to do. He stayed on code. That's all that happened. It's no mystery behind it. See it for what it is. It was an agent who got activated. He got orders and he acted on those orders. And it just so happened that he's a Caucasian guy, because that's y'all's matrix. Hello, you're the big bad guy in the situation. And we're just the lowly people who get attacked. No, wake up. Hello. This is set up that way so that you'll keep buying into the BS. We're not going to buy into it with you, okay? We see it for what it is, and we're here to help. We're all here to work together and to put everything to bed that they use against us. And in order to do that, we have to talk about it, and we have to come to realization. And you just can't go out and change things, definitions and whatnot of what it is. No, if we say that we're not a part of it, then we need to all collectively look at it and say, yep, there they go, playing the race card again. There they go, you know, acknowledging that there's a problem. Well, what can I do? I can acknowledge that yes, there is a problem. Yes, we mass incarcerate people in the matrix. Yes, we have people who get activated to go and kill people. And that's the matrix that they set up for us. You can acknowledge these things. It's okay to acknowledge them. That's how you get past them. But not acknowledging them creates an elephant in a room, a big issue, and it makes you seem like you're detached from the truth of what's really happening, going on. It's like talking to a damn wall sometimes. It's kind of frustrating. A lot of them get on the panels and we're having discussion, and they're like out in left field somewhere when they respond, and it's just like, hello, come on, man, stay on topic, stay, you know. I only see certain individuals coming on to disrupt a great build, to troll a great build. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Time to really grow up. Stop making your collages and they're not inclusive of melanin-rich people. Flat Earth should look like it is unity. Unified people who don't care about the color of any skin or whatever trappings that they see in the matrix, whatever paradigm or skit that the elites are running on us. We all have to recognize that and be like, damn, you know what? They're trying to get us again. We all have to make sure that we're on our P's and Q's and not doing things that are going to further take us away from what we're trying to do, which is remain unified. I don't want to see it on panels. If I see it, I'm definitely going to call you out on it. I'm going to say, hey, brother, you over here, and it seemed like you're being a little biased. It seems like you have a problem having people on your platform that aren't like you. Yes, I'm going to do that, because you know what? This community will represent what we say we're about. If we're unified on all fronts. That means I should be able to go to your platform. You should be able to go to my platform. We shouldn't even think about any nefarious things, okay? Stop with the BS and the madness, okay? Stop attacking people for telling the truth and acknowledging the fact that there is an issue out here. There is, regardless of our not wanting to participate in it, we're still in the matrix. Hello, until it comes down, until that lie is broken and dead and everybody is in the truth and free from it, we still have to deal with the issues that are in there. And we all still have our parts to play in it. As far as getting people out of it, acknowledging and saying, you know what, I see what that is, sister. Girl, do you see what's going on over there? Yes, I do. We need to be on the same page, fighting the same battle, because we are fighting the same battle. There's no difference between you and I. We are one together, human beings, period. And the only way that we're going to make a difference is by coming together and not allowing anything to separate us from each other. That means acknowledging problems when we see it and looking at it without thinking about, oh my God, that girl thinks that, you know, all white people are killers and, you know, they're just talking about us in such a negative way. And you jumping to conclusions and assuming that that's how we think or what we said is even remotely about that, because it's not. And I see this over and over again. Stop doing that. We don't think like that. We're not built like that. We're not made like that. We are honest to goodness when we're talking about something, talking about it open and honestly and unafraid to do that. But if we make a mistake or we jump to a conclusion, we will be the first to apologize. We will be the first ones to say, you know what, I'm wrong about that. We're nothing if, as a family, we don't have arguments and come together and work on things together. We have to be able to do that. Okay? Honest, open, and honestly with each other. There's no such thing as color on flat earth. Only in the conscious community is there such thing as color, because we are trying to reach out to individuals who are melanin rich like us. Okay, that's it. As far as there being a color, we are not colors. We don't even see ourselves as that. We're melanin rich people who are reaching out to other melanin rich people to bring them out to fight alongside of us, not against us. Okay, that's all that's happening. Nobody's better than anybody. Okay, no, recognize these false flags and these shootings and these trigger things that they try to trigger us with are set up on purpose to keep us talking about topics that have nothing to do with the truth about where we live, where we want to go, and the fact that we don't want to live indoctrinated lives. Before we're even born, we're given this lie. Our parents, everybody. We don't want the lie anymore. We want to live in the truth. Come together. Stop allowing this to occur. I see it over and over again. They make up all this conspiracies and they start talking about all this stuff that has nothing to do with flat earth. It's fine to talk about it if you're debunking it. It's fine to talk about it if you want to say, guys, this is what they're trying to do. Talk about those points and keep it moving. Nobody got time to make their whole entire show about that, because it just becomes a culture. It becomes a cult life. Conspiracy theory, gurus, all that stuff is a culture. It's a life. It's a religion. It's not actual living in the truth. It's fine to talk about, you know, things that come up, but when it ceases to be a conspiracy and is an actuality and becomes a truth, you can no longer say something is a conspiracy. Oh, it's a conspiracy. No one's conspiring. It's an actuality, okay, that they've lied to you. That they keep coming up with these matrices within the matrix to keep you in the matrix. Don't stay vested in it. We've got to pull ourselves out of it. And I'm talking to everybody in the flat earth community. Don't fall for the trap anymore. We can't afford it. We don't have time to keep vesting in it and doing all the song and the dance that they want us to do. La da 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 da. All they did over since the eclipse is try to bring negative energy our way with the storms, the engineered storms, with the the political party, you know, with the world powers and threatening bombs and all of that stuff, and, you know, not providing aid. And then you have the shooting. All of it is nothing but distractions to keep us from talking about flat earth, to keep us from waking people up. They figure if they get us busy enough with enough distractions, enough problems that they created, that we won't have time to share and spread this truth with each other, that we won't be worried about telling people that the earth is flat, because in the Matrix, it would just seem like such a small thing. They would just be like, oh, you worried about the shape of the earth? We got people over here starving. We got people over here dying. You know, that's their mentality. Not even realizing these people have set this up so that you will think and you will die, because that's their end game. Whatever they're trying to do, or whatever power or magic they think that they have, is only because we give it to them. We have to give up our energy, our vibration, our life source to them in order for them to have power over us, when we are the majority and they are the minority. Don't give it to them. Don't feed into it. Don't spend your time. Don't waste your time investing in it. See it, call it out, recognize it, and move on. The most important thing that we can do for this flat earth truth is to keep sharing it, no matter what the hell is going on. I do not care whatever they bring up on the scene to keep us distracted. I'm not falling for it. I'm going to keep looking at ways that I can share and spread this truth. I didn't fall for it with the Kanika Jones situation. I didn't fall for it with the engineered storms that they had. I didn't fall for it when they started with the whole bombs with North Korea. I didn't fall for it when Trump started saying ridiculousness and you know, trying to tear up the stupid political correctness crap. I didn't do it with the shooting. I'm not stopping telling this truth for nothing in the world, because there's something greater at stake. Some child who's unborn needs for you and I to tell this truth in order that they be born, or their children be born, in the truth, without having to fight for the right to be free in mind. Someone that we don't even know, who isn't even born yet, who hasn't even come into existence yet, is counting on us to be the light bearers of truth right now. We don't have any time to waste on these people anymore. Whatever their plan is, we need to be disrupting that. The only way to do that is to share our truth with as many people as we possibly can, until something changes or we have no more life in us. That's the only way that we're going to see and affect the change that we want to have in our life now. May be too late for us, but for my children's children and their children, we got to do the hard work. We got to stay on topic. We got to stay focused about the truth. We got to share this truth with as many people as we can, no matter how hopeless it seems. However many hours we got to spend doing that, then that's what we have to do. And we have to lock arms with each other and do it. We have to be that link in the future to those who are to come, so that they can look back and know that even if, you know, it's still going on when it comes our times to pass, that we did everything that we possibly can for them to be born free. No one's born free right now. We're all born into slavery of one form or another. And what we're fighting for is for the beings that are coming after us to be born free, mentally, spiritually, physically, in every way possible. Not to be born into a matrix. Can you just stop and think for a minute how many New babies are being born right now that are being born into this matrix who have no idea. They're completely innocent. They're being born into this matrix. And we are going to have to fight for their soul. We are in a fight for the souls of man. And anybody who thinks that they're not needs to go back and look into their own loved one's eyes to realize that what I'm saying is the truth. We're fighting for their soul. That's why you hear me say that when I'm talking to people. I'm not just going after the deception in their lives, because it's not just that what we're fighting for. We're fighting for souls to be born pure, souls to be born free in mind, body, spirit. Unlike we were born. We were born into the matrix. We might even die in it, but I'm going to die fighting. So won't y'all lock arms with me? Let's fight together. We're not in this alone. We're not by ourselves. You're woke and you're touched for a reason. It's for you to wake up others, for you to do the same. What was done for you, so that you can bring the next generation up free, completely free. And we don't know what that's going to look like in the future. That's the beautiful thing about it, because we're freeing the minds of others who will then pave the way for the society that I've always been teaching about, which is Ubuntu Contrabutionsism. Free from corporations' rule. Free to live your lives out naturally as it was intended. No lies, no one trying to kill you for nefarious reasons. Pure life being born. I'm living for that day that the first soul is born free from the matrix. Won't that be a wonderful day, you guys, to be able to see that? To see that first soul born when this whole thing comes completely down? You know how they do here in the Matrix on New Year's, right? Their fake New Year's. When New Year's comes up, all the news areas go to the hospitals and they see who the first child is to be born under the new year. Won't that be great to see many children being born free, complete of the matrix? That's the day that I'm living for. That's the day that I'm looking forward for. That's the days that I'm fighting for, is the freedom of the souls to come. And, that's what we should all be trying to do. We should all be striving to do that in whatever way that we possibly can, and not feel ashamed or guilty of doing that. If you really about this truth, then don't worry about what other people think or what they say. You have the truth on your side, and that's all that matters. Don't get tired. Don't get frustrated. Don't get weary. Keep pushing. Use that fuel that someone gives you to go on to the next person. Don't give up. Don't give in. Just remember how important it is for us to share the truth so that souls can be born free of mind, body, and spirit. Then you will have a lasting legacy. Then you'll have something to be proud of, something that you can put your stamp on and say, yes, I was a part of that movement. I was a part of that truth. I was a part of you being born free. I can't think of any better legacy to leave than one where you're freeing millions, potentially billions of people. I mean, it's got to be the greatest cause worth dedicating your life to. And I've dedicated the rest of my life to being able to do that. No matter how hard it gets, how ugly it gets, even if they take my life for doing it, I'm never going to stop telling the truth. And to those who would, you know, get in our way, hell won't be a safe place for you either. You'll wish for hell if you get in our way. Death wouldn't be enough for you. Because trust me, the afterlife, I would find you there too. I would so haunt you there too. Yes, even hell would not be a safe place for you, because I would just do something so I could go to hell, so to speak, just so I can get to you. I will definitely get to you if you get in our way. Because, I mean, you've got to be a sick person to want to see others harmed and hurt and down. You've got to be a person that's too far from saving. You've got to be the monster. You've got to be an elite. You definitely have to be. To want to hurt other and harm other people. Something is wrong with you. Really, really wrong with you. If you don't have the heart to do the work, or you just, I mean, a troll, or you just working for the man, you on the other side, don't get in the way. Don't come in where we're at. You know, you don't believe what we believe. That's fine. Don't come where we're at. Don't show us your ugliness, your ugly face, because we're going to get to you. We seriously are. Like, we don't have room for you in this truth. Don't come to the panel, you know, faking us out, acting like, you know, you're here to just, you know, have a healthy discussion when you're just really there to disrupt. We ain't got time for you types. Okay? We want to deal with people who are actually there, who want the information, who, you know, want to be converted. People who really open. But if you've already looked at Flat Earth, you've already made your decision, what's the point of you coming to our discussions and our panels? You should just be quiet. You know, just be lurking. Go back in the attic. Go back to the bushes. Chill out, man. We don't need those types. I'm not even going to entertain those types. Because it just slows forward moving progress down. So yeah, so I pretty much discussed the two topics that I wanted to talk about. And I hope I didn't lose anybody on that. You know, if you need some clarity, feel free to ask any questions. You know, I'm game. I'm going to get in the chat real quick. So if you guys have any questions for me, now's the time to ask. And I'm going to thank everybody for coming out and listening to me talk today. Let's see who else joined in here. The Cynics. Hey, Joy. Joy Sil, how you doing, brother? Been a minute. All right, I don't see any questions for me, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one out, you guys. good to get back with you all and share my thoughts on this past couple of weeks and what's been going on. I will be getting back with you guys as soon as I possibly can. I'm actually working on some things with a friend of mine who's going to be setting up some of my, my theme music, my intros, and a couple of professional setups that I'm going to be using from now on for my shows, because I do want to take this to the next level so that I can reach more people and entertain bigger platforms. So that's one of the reasons why I hadn't been on lately, because I've been kind of like working on that in the background, and I don't want to present something that's not well put together, even though I know you guys really don't care. That's just me. And so I've been working on that. And so I will bring that to you guys as soon as I possibly can. And I'm going to be discussing a couple more things that I've seen lately. I'm going to go ahead and get off because I have to actually drive my daughter back to college. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed talking and spending this time with everybody that dropped through. I really appreciate you guys, and I can't wait for the next time that we're on together. And if you guys have any topic or anything that you would like for me to speak on, shoot me an email or leave it in the comment section, and I'll give you my thoughts on those things. Hopefully here soon I will be doing some more interviews of other flat earthers, and you might even see me appear on some channels that I haven't been on, that I'm a huge fan of. So look for that here in the near future. And as always, keep it flat, y'all. Peace and love to everybody. And I want everybody to have a good night and enjoy the rest of your week, and I will get back with you sometime during the week or this weekend. Have a good afternoon.